Hey everybody, Monday update, Tony George, DocSports.com, and of course we'll be talking about the Monday Night Football game, big divisional clash tonight between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns. We put our picks out on Thursday over at Docs, and this is a game that did not interest me in terms of a premium selection. Now we're going to give it to you for free, what I think about the game overall, and I'm going to have a lean on the total here tonight for you. Very quickly, over at DocSports.com, unbeaten weekend in college and pro football. We'll give you a recap of everything that went down after the free play. If you care to tune in, listen in. Had one of the best Sundays I've ever had in my life in all sports combined. We are on a roll, dialed in, and synced in. And I'm glad we are because we won our last three baseball cards, 3-0-1. We pushed on a total in Game 2 of the World Series. But today is my World Series postseason / game of the year. I only have one of these a year, have one in the regular season, and sometimes I never have one in the postseason. It just depends whether, what I think. But today we have an 8-unit position in Major League Baseball over at DocSports.com. Stay tuned. I'll tell you how you can get it for free. Let's get to this game tonight. When I saw this game last week, my first reaction was Cincinnati. And then my second reaction was that's way too easy because these are two teams going in opposite directions. What you're seeing from Cincinnati, especially offensively the last couple weeks, putting up 35 and 30 points. You're seeing Burrow dialed in. You're seeing them dialed in somewhat defensively. You're seeing the team that you saw towards the tail end of last year that got to the Super Bowl. Taylor's cleaned up, Zach Taylor, their head coach, cleaned up some of his calls. He was making some very questionable offensive play calls early on in the season. You're not seeing that now. On the other side of the coin, Cleveland is just a train wreck. They've lost their last 4 versus Cincinnati, covering their last 5. But it looks, it's Halloween. So it's trick or treat. You don't know what you're going to get with this game. You're either going to get an old beat up apple or you're going to get some Reese's Pieces in your bag. What are you going to get? You know what I'm saying? But what does interest me here, I think that this game will go over the 45.5. And bear in mind, this is a free play. This is not something I put on my premium card. I very rarely put out Thursday and Monday night games. I put out props. I have a prop card tonight for this one. I find more value in player props. Strange things happen on Thursdays and Mondays, especially Thursdays with short weeks, travel, all kinds of different intangibles that are hard to handicap. Monday nights, home dogs. You got a hook on a fall number here, 3.5. It's too easy to take Cincy here. Could they beat them 38-10? Yeah. They could. Where they're playing. And it's really a big game for Cleveland. Everything's on the line here. They don't win this one. They're any hope of any postseason. This was a team that was supposed to challenge for the division. With Pittsburgh being down, probably figured early in the season that the Steelers were probably going to, at some point in time, bring in Pickett at quarterback. Trubisky's not going to last the season. We all knew that. So it's going to be a learning curve for them and kind of an off year. Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati was going to have the Super Bowl hangover. And I thought maybe Cleveland and Baltimore would vie for this division. That was at least the preseason thoughts. But what Cleveland has done in this tailspin they're in is it's hard to bank them. And there's a lot of teams that are Jekyll and Hyde in the NFL each and every week. That's what makes it such a difficult animal to handicap. A lot of times, despite there are some teams that are just consistently good all the time. You can always count on them to be in a game, to give you a fair shake on the spread, and then you have days where they take days off or what, like an example's Kansas City against the Colts. How'd the Colts beat Kansas City? You know, they're all teams are NFL teams. They all have millionaire athletes. They all got great athletes. But at the end of the day here, I think the over 45 is in play here. You've got the number 9 and number 7 teams ranked in the NFL in yards per game. Number 10 and number 11 in points scored in the NFL per game, combined 48. As I mentioned earlier, Cincinnati has put up 35 and 30 in their last 2 games. Cleveland, their last 3 games defensively, 23, 38, and 30 they've allowed. I think this really could have a potential for overtime. Cleveland will give you a game. They were, last week against Baltimore, I had the Ravens in a survivor. And the last 4 minutes of that game, I thought I was going to lose. I mean, Cleveland doesn't go away. They hang around. They've got a running game here that's going to be a challenge for Cincinnati. They've got a quarterback that's iffy at best. I just think it's one of these games. Both teams are going to be in the 20s. Halloween night. The ghouls and goblins come out. I think Burrow and company are going to have theirs, and I know they're without Jamar Chase, but they've got Boyd, Higgins. You go down the list. They've got capable players. Mixon's a good running back. He should find some success tonight. If he does find success on the ground, that's going to keep their defense honest. They're not going to blitz as much. They do have a good pass rush, but Burrow is one of these guys that gets rid of the ball quick and can read defenses. So, I think they're going to have theirs, and I think Cleveland will have some as well. So I'll take the over 45.5. Over at DocSports.com, as I mentioned, we had a hell of a weekend in football. We went unbeaten Saturday and Sunday. We won top play, 7-unit position on Illinois over my beloved Huskers. We also won with Missouri, who won straight out. We had Houston on the first half line. And then on Sunday, we had a top play on New England. We also had Seattle. We also had Miami. And we had a teaser with the Saints and the Bills. And, of course, what was that by? Did you watch the Red Rock video I did with Scott Spritzer last week, the Doc's Gridiron 6-pack? I said, right there, I gave you the pick. The Las Vegas Raiders are not ready to lay points on the road. Prime example yesterday. Just not ready. There were some wild and wacky results yesterday, but nonetheless, we managed to go 4-0. It's a 16-7 run in the NFL. It's a 20-6 against the spread run with college football top picks dating back to last year, which is epic. And we're on a 9-1 run the last 3 Saturdays in college football. Doc Sports, we give you a free $60. Link in the description below. Be sure and utilize that free $60 and get this 8-unit Major League Baseball postseason game of the year tonight. 4-unit in the NBA. We're off the cash yesterday. And a lot of you jumped on board the NASCAR pick yesterday. 6-unit top play. Boom. Got that one in as well. Player prop card cashed. 3 player props tonight in the Monday Night Football game. Best of luck on Monday. Happy Halloween. All treats and no tricks. Get over to Doc's.